you, John, for introduction, and thank you for coming to my talk. So I want to do a survey before my talk. So how many of you working in power grid or smart grid? Can you raise your hand? Okay, good. Then I know how much lower I should put in the high level. So I'm trying. So I didn't put much details. It's mostly give rough ideas. So what problems are important in the electricity market? Like why we need to think about the new market design for the system. So as most of you done working on the power grid before, give a brief introduction what changes are happening in the electricity grid. So I usually call the traditional grid, like you can call that electricity grid number one. And what is operation is a vertical structure, so power plant will generate power and be transmitted, distributed to the end users. So the goal, like fundamental goal for the power grid is to make sure supply equal demand. And now we look at supply and demand. In the demand side, requires unresponsive. What do we mean by unresponsive? Is as users, we can decide how much to consume, when to consume, what to consume. We have a lot of flexibility. But fortunately, the aggregated demand profile is predictable. Like take the Universal Maryland as a system together. We cannot predict individual persons' behavior, but we can predict aggregated electricity usage. And this is one example for one neighborhood. We can see the electricity usage follows similar pattern at different day, and the average is very small. So that being said, is all the control part can push to the supply side. So because the supply side is controllable, because most power plants are gas, fuel that can control how much generation is being generated. And like brief overview of the market. So example, we're talking about market. So it has a lot of organizational control, like power engineering, all different people working together to make sure the power plant can generate enough power to satisfy people's usage. But for the market side, traditionally we already have market for transmission system. The market usually done at different time scale. So the slow time scale, like sometimes call it like forward energy market, and different utility, different ISO have different name for the forward market design. So that's basically one very public example, for example, the data house market. So before next day, so the ISO will gather all the information from different power plants, then to decide how much generation going to be generated by using the prediction. And that is the forward. And that the real time, because we can imagine that sometimes people will change their mind, still some flexibility from the user that's not predicted by the data hub. And also probably sometimes the power plant will fail. So the real time is the real time market. And the fake example of the PGM is every 5 minutes, you will get information to do the rescheduling again. So this is roughly different time scale and at a very fast time scale. In case some emergency, some failure really happens, there's another market called actual services market. And this is some example like I'm going to make sure that some power plant is standby in case it's called. And this is called the actual services market. So this is a brief overview of the transmission market, what already exists. So compare with...
How often is the estimated?
This depends. So typically at almost all the time, the actual services, like there is some reserve being reserved. Yeah, it's already like it's almost every time it's been here. Every time, so
the 2 time scales are the day, and the long-term.
that's roughly for example. And even like this, even like longer time scale, like even the next month, they will get some information. And but roughly every time you go to the web page, you will find the price information about data information and also real-time price information. And the two markets run very different. Like the forward market, real-time market, roughly is different by different tool. Like follow the competitive market to go to decide the price. But then for the actual services, it's very different. It's more like mechanism.
Who runs the market?
PGM is one ISO independent service
Okay,
operator.
PGM is an electricity company.
It is operator. So like
I thought there was an independent body to
PGM is
both.
so like so like in Massachusetts, so it's owned by the Green ISO,
Okay.
like Pennsylvania, and the PGM
What's
is
the
actually
ISO?
so independent service operator.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that the market is run by a third party to avoid pollution.
That's the PGM ISO.
Yeah.
Yeah, PGM ISO. And there's another like utility company, but it's a bigger level of the ISO.
But PGM also has factories, the position.
So if you check, so different company that you can sign, so
So definitely PGM will operate as a third party, will operate how much generators will generate that information. And there's some other thing that sometimes people, okay, I also want to become a utility company. And so that different companies have different roles. And PGM definitely has one role as an ISO.
But one of the things that we're worried is collusion between the people that they actually produce the energy and the ones that they actually schedule.
It is like,
So they can play games, right?
it is. It's a very complex story. Even for the distribution system itself, it's already very complex.
Because initially from
Yeah.
reading what you sent me, the initial incentive for that was exactly to isolate this bank.
Yeah, there's a different rule to limit people's market power. Yeah, there's a list of different ways to check. First, you're going to, okay, ideally we want every person to play competitively, like doing the first later. But people not going to do that. This is actually not just because of incentive reason. There's also another actually power engineering also make people need to do some strategical behavior that I recently learned. And so that's why even for the market power is very hard to define. Because sometimes people play that because they want, like it's not because they are bad people. It's because the policy is in that way. In order for the company to survive, they need to do something. Yeah. So I will tell you more about what I recently learned for this part. So, but this talk, I'm going to focus on the distribution, the small user part. So definitely a lot of math I'm going to talk about is borrowed from what already implemented in the transmission market and to address the new challenges in distribution network in this talk. But being that even for the transmission market, like what John was asking, still a lot of problems and people still trying to improve and trying to do different type of market rule, like implementation to see which one is better. Can we improve that? So still, even for that one, this is still complex story so far. So okay, let's continue. So what I want to show you here is that we have a very complicated market rule running the transmission market, and people can argue it's good or bad. And different state, the different ISO actually have different kind of market rule. So in ISO and PGM and Cal ISO, they probably very different. So that's depends what kind of things they want to try this year. So, but compared with the complex story in the supply side, demand side is for us, usually we just see it's just a monthly bill. We don't know how the bill is that come up, but we just got the bill. So, but let's put this so roughly, it still make sure we have light bills, like the bulb is on every minute if we want. But so we look at that. So one big thing. So why the changes? So besides the old problem we haven't solved yet, and what's the new problem? We look at here, the typical controllable power plant. This is the one example. So it's caused big problem for the environment and energy sustainability. So people propose, so try to use more and more renewable energy, especially for for example, California and Hawaii, as in New York State. So there's a few states that are very aggressive. So we should use more renewable energy to make sure the environment, the energy system is sustainable. And the difficulty for this one, let's compare with the traditional power plant, is first, the generation of the renewable energy are very different from the traditional power plant. How much they are generated is not controlled by humans. It's random and intermittent. So this is one example for the wind. We can see this plot shows different day, what kind of wind generation. We can almost say we didn't see any pattern from this kind of data. But different day have different kind of data, generation. And for the solar, the big challenge for the solar is if a cloud comes, it will drop immediately by very large amount. So this is the one challenge. Another challenge is people probably heard people call distributed energy resources. There are more and more people have the solar on the roof. And this is one picture shows. So in order to maximize the use of renewable energy, people deploy the renewable plant all over the place. So now we have a much larger size and a much larger number of the renewable plant. Even the size becomes smaller, and also the size also becomes smaller. So put them into summary. So in the supply side, what we have is less controllable, highly uncertain, more distributed, and very large scale. So accordingly,
Yes.
Yes.
So from what I know from DOE,
yeah.
and I think now included these on happens. People install photovoltaic, but they don't connect them to the network.
They connect.
They are not. I'm telling you. The actual installation of photovoltaics in houses far exceeds the ones that they actually get connected to the network.
Depends.
So
Depends
the-
on the state.
So that, of course,
To
then
the
there's a
state.
problem, because you have all these people, and that they install photovoltaic, that they use it for their energy, and they still have the utility, and there's the others that they comply. So you're addressing those that they comply, those that they are connected to the network.
Yeah.
Not the other ones. Okay?
Yeah, so this one,
Because there is a research problem that they ask,
yeah,
how can I make it so that if you're going to go through the expense and put photovoltaic in your home, you're actually going to connect to the utility?
you see, I have one study, not a real study, like a story from the,
Okay.
from
But you agree that's a problem?
It's a big problem, that's why I'm working on this problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you will see that this is a story from the Nevada, that what happened if you connect to the grid.
Okay.
So, okay, then like one story. So like since there are a lot of uncertainty, variability from the supply side. So like we can see if we go to like even like last year I went to the Home Depot, you will see a lot of new home appliances, like new technologies. What do I mean by that? So there are one or more appliance with the Wi-Fi enabled. Like you try the smart appliance. If I want to change, I can just change it. Like one or more lights using the LED. So you can, at real time, you can change multi-energy generation. So storage, like better and better storage technology have been developed, and more people drive electrical vehicle car. So this is one like dragon people use called distributed energy resources. It's now combined with all those small wind turbine or solar PV with those new appliances because distributed energy resources, because now almost everyone can contribute as energy resource. They provide energy in a certain way. So that's what John was saying. Like now we see more and more this kind of house has solar on the roof, and even has like small wind turbine. People have the smart appliance, and they're getting cheaper and cheaper. More people have the electrical vehicle. So you can say using the real pictures, we can really say it's actually happening. It's real story, and we can like people got excited. Now we have more and more new energy. Is going to be like a big success in terms of save energy or improve the environmental sustainability. But we take a deeper story when we're talking about sustainability. This is another problem here. Is this sustainable? What do I mean by that? When people adopt the new technology, is it because the new technology becomes cheaper and cheaper, or because something else? So I was looking into, like even when I was trying to change my own water heater, like I was looking at all different products. So some product, if it has some smart ability, I got the rebate. So the like tax rebate, subsidy, and here, this is what Joe was asking. Like, if I connect to the grid, so because I still need to connect to the grid, and the grid is going to provide the energy to me when I don't have renewable generation, for example, in the night. So I'm connected to the grid. And so that's the question is, how much am I going to pay to the grid? Or if I have extra energy generation, how much I can get from the grid? So that usually people refer as the non-unitary rate. And when people try to install those new technology, I will do all the calculation. So putting all the rebate, tax return, subsidy, and also including the net metering rate is if I can sell energy back to the grid, how much I can have. So this is a real story. If you Google, you can find a video here. So like that's why like John was asking, it's a big problem that connected to the grid. Yeah, so
I'm asking because in Germany, there is a big problem, right? The
Here, we also have a problem.
calculation you're talking about in terms of depreciation of a big one was wrong, and people were turned off.
we also have the problem. So this is a story, but like give a brief background for this story. So what happened here? So in Nevada, because it's very hot in the summer, I was checking like the electric bill amounts probably higher than $400. Then people build the solar on the roof, and then because there's a lot of sun in Nevada, and they can also sell the power back. At the very beginning, the price, okay, how much the price of selling back to the grid is the same as the price I'm buying back from the grid. So people do the easy calculation, I will get money back, like within in a few years. So a lot of people build the solar with their house. Once more and more people doing that, it's caused a big problem because utility company cannot take so many energy generation from people because I don't have people to use it. So then the utility company changed the policy. I'm going to buy the power from very, very low rate, and also probably I'm going to put a cap. That's the maximum power you can sell back to me. But that's caused a big problem is people losing money. I put like 10,000, I think more than $10,000, put the solar on my house, but now I cannot use it. Like I'm losing the money. So you can see one solution from people is go to the court, then to fight, force the utility company to change back. This is not doable, like sustainable. I haven't checked what the results so far, but because the change of the monetary rate, like a lot of solar companies, like consider Solar City, almost went bankruptcy because they are no customer anymore. So this caused a big problem. And now we look at this huge problem, why we have this problem. So that's bring the work, like motivated the work of this talk. So in this talk, I will roughly talk about 3 challenges. So why it's hard to make the policy, or like people like the policy, also be sustainable for the grid in the long run. So it's roughly 3 challenges I've been talking about. First, because we're dealing with the power grid, it's a power system. We have the engineering difficulty to address. And second part, like every time one makes certain kind of market rule, I just think about the humans' behavior, like how it's aligned with the humans' incentive. Is people going to do what, like, as what I predicted? And the last one I mentioned, like a lot of difficulty come from the uncertainty. So we deal with the renewable energy and we ask people to react. There's a lot of uncertainty from the users. Now, how we are going to address those challenges? So I will talk about the 3 aspects one by one. And like first, let's go to just like as an engineer, let's go to like look at what the difficulty brought by the power engineering aspect. Just a brief overview of the fundamental physics. That's actually, if we consider different time scale, especially like the dynamics, that's a more complicated story. But just look at the roughly simple story about transmitting, delivering power, like roughly we call it the steady state behavior. What we mean by that? This is electricity grid. If I want, like ideally, if you think about transportation or delivery system, if I just want to send the power from this power plant to these users, if I think about I want to minimize like or control the congestion of the road, I would like to have flexibility to choose. So this is the one path of let's minimize the distance. But because it is electricity grid, because of every node connected, everything connected, that's not going to happen. As long as I want to send the power from here to here, the power is going to flow around the network, almost follow any paths if they're connected. And if storage we have, it is more complicated. So now, like, because it is physical system, we have the physical operation constraint. So, like, for example, any on the node or on the line, any constraint going to limit the flexibility between the local injection from one power plant to another user. And if I have more generation users, become much more complicated. It's very hard to separate who contribute and who, like how much is contributed by which one. So this is roughly a story. Let me give you one simple example of this battery. Why this is a challenge? And I'm already made the physics simple from here. I use some linear approximation. So here we have 3 bus. So 1, 2 are generation node, and the 3 is a load bus. If you think about some other market, so generation and consumption talk to each other, I'm going, okay, they have some contract. I'm going to send 150 units of power from generation 1 to user 3. Because of the physics laws, that's how the power is going to flow. So 100 units going through here, and then 50 going through the other one. This is what's happening. And if we have one, like, for some reason, so this line is very aged, so we have very limited capacity, 25. So that's limited how much I can send from node 1 to node 3. Like totally I can only send like 70 define from node 1 to node 3. But if you look at this story, I have another generation 2. So generation 2, from the market story, is a competitor of generator 1. But in this story, if generator 2 also sell power, so I'm using the green line, sell power to the grid 3, and similarly by the Davis law, so from here, there's like 25 through here and 50 through here. What that means is now for the generator 1, I'm able to send like 50 unit power through this one. So from here, the story is even generator 1 and generator 2, they're competitors. But in this case, they actually help each other. But the question, how are you going to make your competitor to help you? Like, before you really go to look at this power flow, how do you know he is your competitor or he is your collaborator? So that's the difficulty for this problem. So as a, I also belong to the applied math as a mathematician. Sometimes let's look at the problem, what kind of relation we can have. So as I'm going to provide a rough higher overview of the approach we adjust. So if you look at borrow from the standard economics rule, so what people are going to have is, we can look at exactly what our objective is. So our objective is, so here I provide this is one distribution network. In the distribution network, usually the network structure is better than the transmission network. What I mean is, for example, here I draw the network like a radio network or tree network. And sometimes you can also introduce some other circle, but it's much simpler than the transmission network. Take this network example. So I do the first want to ask a question, what our objective is. So one objective all the economists talk about is we want to maximize social welfare. So we can formulate the problem just as a mathematics optimization problem. So roughly what this means, so D is the generation, no, it's a consumer, G the generation. So at each bus or each node, you can have both generation and the demand, and then there's some constraint like L and F. This is the power flow constraint, like what I talked about before. So there's some power engineering constraint to specify. So this is roughly this is a problem we're dealing with, and benefits cost is a constraint. So now we talk about individual, talking about market. So far here, I'm not talking about any game theory. Just people are competitive, player. People are just the price taker, behave nicely. So if I have a price for individual person, so I have the P, then individual person, for me, it's very hard for me to care about the whole network. I only care about the pricing of the entity. So based on the price information, user is going to choose the best consumption, generation going to choose the best generation. So then the problem translates back to, can we find a price to make the social welfare be maximized? And so that's kind of this model, to find the price. If you find the price, then look at the optimization theory. If the problem has nice property, for example, convexity, then we can, by look at the duality of the problem, this can give us optimal price. Question?
But do you have actually a functional form for B?
I have a function. So you actually don't need, I will talk about that. So how you going to find the price. Now you got the ideally, so that's why.
But ideally, people assume functions for B. For C it's easy, but for B, I question it whether you would have a formula that actually is validated to use.
I think especially depending on the size they use it. For the commercial industry, it actually can come out some B. Yeah. For our sake, it's very hard to come out B. But I will show how exactly to find the price later. But ideally, if I have the B and C, again, at least mathematically, in theory, you can got the B.
Right.
So, but the challenge is the problem itself is actually non-convex. So there's a lot of work on the convexity. This is the one example about non-convexity comes from the power flow. You don't need to remember the slide because I'm not going to do the slides for the following. So, but roughly, let's say the problem is not very complicated, even though I put a simple formulation before about the simple formulation. So that's what, this is the only one we don't have non-convexity. There are many other non-convexity conformity. You need commitment, it's another challenge, and also the warm-up cost is very hard to get with other things. So, but people have studied the work using the quantification to make the problem be a convex, and then to see the gap between the two problems. And some promising message is, so the method, it can give us the exact solution. This is one way. Another way is, building up the non-convexity, make the problem using the linear approximation, and then this is a linear approximation model to set the market score. So that's typical for doing that. But, so now I put in story is, we have a optimization problem, by either using approximation or doing the convexification, we have some nice property. So now we can set the price. The price individual, we can find the price. Based on the price, the zero phase maximized. But like what John was asking, how we find the price? So for this scenario, what is assumed is it's assumed there's some presence in the middle. Ask people information, benefit function, cost function, and then do the calculation, send the optimal price to each node. So that's how this structure is going to work.
Okay, one question I have with all of this work, okay? Nobody explains, is that there's no attention paid to what information is already sent.
By information, what do you mean?
If I know, for instance, that they are going to behave the same way if they're my neighbor, that helps me. If we all know that, that helps me in achieving the welfare optimum. And this is systematically neglected in this study.
You mean like if I know that's how the price is set, then I'm going to pay such a
No, what information I have? If I know, if somebody tells me that every day this week you're going to behave like last week, and if everybody exchanges information, that helps me. And helps utility. So the information on which you base your decision, in other words, nowhere in the formula that I know, information is actually put in. And this is becoming, in my opinion, very important when you go to the real problem, which is dynamic.
Yeah, when you go to dynamic, so I think.
So there's always, in
example,
my
okay.
opinion, there's too much emphasis on the steady state, optimization, and so on and so forth. And then when you go to the real situation, you start seeing the behavior of people going up and down. And I think it goes up and down because either perceptually, either correctly or incorrectly, they have beliefs. And they have real information. And that influences very much what they do. Especially if you want to talk about individual people, not companies.
Yeah, I think what you describing is more like now for the person, I kind of know the policy, and then how I'm going to be. So if I'm asking people to give me the B, so like day by day, I will got like better information
Isn't
about
that the reason
yeah.
why the companies actually give you a break if you allow them to control your devices? So for instance, there are companies that if they have the renewables, they allow you to write a contract and say, okay, you put the renewables, but now, and that's your option, let me control when you turn on and off.
That's one option.
Because that gives them more predictability. Okay?
But people can opt out.
Yes.
No, it's because the relationship between the price of the power and demand is not linear. It goes like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it's really, really hot, okay, to get an extra increment in terms of demand, the price to the company goes up by a huge amount. So it's worth their while to get you to agree to turn your air conditioning unit off.
Yeah, but I think
They save money by doing this.
I understand, but the point I'm making is slightly different. I think there's tremendous value in the ability to predict accurately, whether you are a utility or individual. And I think if you can do that, this helps to achieve what's called systems optimal versus going completely random. Because if it's completely random, you have to hedge all the time. And for instance, keep reserves and so on and so forth. We'll come back to that.
I will talk about.
But what bothers me, honestly,
Yeah.
is that
So,
there's no, the information that the agents here, which are the users and the company have, is not accounted for. It's out of the program range completely.
okay. So, like, I will talk about the issue you asked for the second part and third part.
Okay.
So for here is, like, for example, from here you already kind of assume individual agent will do what you want to do. And the question is, like what here, what I want to say, even an individual person is a good agent, like you already can program. But the question is how you know individual person information if you don't want to send my information like to the big company for the privacy issue. But the issue we're talking about will come later. It's like now if I really do the bidding as a human, actually I can anticipate what's happening. I know what my neighbor is going to do. I'm going to take advantage of that. That's coming to the second part.
Okay.
Yeah. But this part only focuses on the power engineering, and the second part is so you will see for the second part, I make the model simpler, then just to look at the human aspect to see how they're going to change. So, like good discussions. So far what here is that we actually assume this is incoming users will behave like what I said here. Given the price, they will try just to maximize their own benefit. So like when we try to find the price information, what we're going to do is, I'm not going to make it company like what John was asking, does not have the benefit function, cost function from individual person for different reasons. And here I would mention, for example, one reason, but privacy reason, that people don't want to build information. Another reason is, like even as individual user BI, I don't know exactly my benefit function. So probably I know if you give me a price, what I'm going to do, but I don't know my entire benefit function. By giving a price, I know like what I'm going to turn down or turn off my life. So that's why I put this like various scenario. For this one, you can think about this, not exactly mathematical optimization problem, you can more think about if you give a price information, what the person is going to do. So that's roughly the structure. But so even based on this structure, so what you can design is, you can have some distributed algorithm that within company gather, like here, within company will gather all the different requests from individual person. How much want to consume, how much want to generate. And this within company has the data about the physical network. You will look at, is my network going to support those requests? If not going to support the request, we will update the price and the price going to individual users. For example, now I see actually there's more people want to sell the power instead of consuming the power, then one way I can reduce the price, then people will reduce generation they want to generate. This is a repeated process, and eventually, like guaranteed by like algorithm design, it can converge to a conservative point, and the point is going to be the optimal solution for evaluation problem. And here, we actually do have a recent work address the communication challenges, but not like what John was asking. Here we're talking about more engineering challenges by communication, because it's a repeated communication. And first, people, I think lots of the traditional power engineering or like the people working in industry will ask the question, when it will happen? Because two-way communication, like it's heavily relies on two-way communication, how fast the communication can be, how reliable the communication is, and like how much, like exactly, do you have a two-way communication? How many rounds of communication you need? So we have a recent work, if you guys interested, so we can talk offline. So we have a lot of recent work to address communication challenges.
Sorry, what is the form of communication in all this?
What is that form of?
What is the kind of information that's being exchanged?
So, for example, in this one, so it's like the utility company sends back the price information, and here individual person only sends the aggregated as a consumption or generation information back to the company. So that's the information they
So the individual users can aggregate the power consumption.
of this house. Yeah.
How realistic is that? How realistic is that assumption?
Like, so for example, nowadays for the smart meter, you actually can send those information back.
So this is not individuals, these are devices, really.
Depends. So like, depending how expensive the device, the physical device it is, but you can implement this one, say individual device, talk to some control center, or you can just like one household give one information to them.
And you can schedule it so it's actually real time or over
Yeah.
blocks of time.
No, I'm trying to understand
these are the
who's
elements.
participating in this, because as a person I would never participate in two laces. So you don't have to be a device in my case.
It's through the meters.
Right, but
The
at the
smart
same
meters
time,
make this feasible.
Right.
But then the smart meters, as Lina just said, they have different categories.
right.
And they can be even individual devices, or they can be on the household, but even at the household level, depending on the contract you have, you can schedule measurements at different things, right?
Oh, no, that's fine. So what I'm trying to understand is, if you actually have to involve humans, the participation rate would go down. So the question is, what is the critical participation rate you need to make this effective?
To achieve like certain kind of ability, right?
Right.
Yeah. So here we will not like you don't ask the question like how much participant rate is. So this one is like assume you have those people be available and you're going to use those people, kind of maximize their ability. But we don't have a study about exact like when you do the real test study. Some people don't do participate, some people participate. We don't have that study for this one. We say assume everything is ready. How are you going to do it?
There is also a secondary game that can be played between the users, right? I can bid more because I want you to do something, and so forth. So and there are techniques that they can use to try to avoid that. Even in the same neighborhood, right? It's no guarantee that you will play fair.
Yeah, I'm sure people can game it, but I'm trying to understand just the high-level model at this
The
point.
high-level model is basically price and consumption information at different levels of aggregation. That's it.
Question?
Yeah, just noticing that the form of user-realized optimization problems resembles the conjugate function of benefit and cost functions. I'm just wondering if the optimization problem class would try to communicate with the parameters.
Can you repeat? I didn't hear.
Yeah, so I was just saying that the user optimization problems resembles a lot the conjugate function of the benefit or cost functions. And I was just wondering if the global optimization problem is sort of communicating the dual's parameters among agents.
Yeah. Like the PI is actually the dual variables. Yes. The PI actually is the dual variables. Okay. So there's a lot of meaning. Well, okay, you have a
One
question.
good question. In this slide, the proposed framework is that you have one utility company that collects the information of demand and generation from each user and then announce a customized price for each user, correct? How different this problem could be if I had multiple companies, but each company announces a global pricing mechanism to all the users that are being served from that company?
So like this is like the framework for one thing company to those users he owns. If you have multiple companies, like for from the utility company to the users level, you can apply this. But then for the utility company, that would have some other like talk to each other or talk to the ISO, depending on like hierarchical structure. Yeah. And this one is only talking about like one structure.
Then the ISO will intervene between the companies to try to manage their functions. That's how it's done.
So like
It's like another-
one of our recent projects is actually like not talking about this level. It's like you think company not everyone can change, right? So but for the ISO previously, there not so many vulnerability from the utility company. Now the question is we're doing some aggregation. This aggregation is how the utility company is going to aggregate the flexibility for individual users and give that information to the transmission like system, because transmission system don't want to look at the instance of small users. And that this one project we are working on, and how to do the hierarchical living structures.
Yeah, I have a question. So does the user have any control of choosing the PI or the?
No, so this one, no. For this one, no. But ideally, actually, if they know how the price is set, they can actually infer and change their strategy, PI, GI, and then it's going to infer the price.
And you say that here says like algorithm converges. For that convergence, how do you update those PIs iteratively? Does it have to satisfy some like iterative equation?
Yeah, it's a form of partition problem structure to have a structure. So I didn't provide details. So, but like I just want to go high level. That's why. I want to come how? I want like because
You can run over.
What?
You can run over.
I don't know. I was given a simulation. Okay, just talking about more interesting things. So here, so like that's the one structure we talked about. It's between company, centralized, individual, negotiate. I think a lot of people get excited by smart grid. Is by the idea of now, if I have some like my house is now small, probably I want to do some bilateral transaction with my neighbor, or with some person far away from my neighbor. At least next door is much harder. So definitely, if we look at some other market, like by buying Apple, selling Apple, I can definitely talk to John, how much you want my Apple? I can do that. Now who do I got other people? But this one, if I just talk to John, I have some power they want to use. And John said, yes, I can give you for free. Okay, definitely yes. But now the question is, any local change? We said yes. But how the power going to transmit to John? Is it going to affect the global network? Even we are very close neighbors. And the global power flow is going to be changed because the local changes. And in economy, people call that as externality. That's an effect I don't want to happen, but it cannot be avoided. And so that's make a very hard problem is if I want people look like flexibility to do the decentralized market, that's a real decentralized market. People can build any local contract, do whatever they want to do. Now it's cause a problem because as a thing company, still you're using my services.
And you can do your local contract about the electricity price, but you should pay me something. But how much I should pay for those delivery services? Like now, for example, for the Amazon or eBay, the seller can just sell their product and pay some fee to eBay or Amazon. And here, I want to, I have one product that's like electricity. I want to become a seller. I want to sell to some person. But similarly, the electricity grid is providing services. How much I should pay the electricity grid? And that's the question when we're talking about decentralized market. And an example, so here in the distribution of a small neighborhood we're talking about now is the two physical constraints that's very important. Like one example, one is the voltage supply. So in order to guarantee the power quality of the appliance, so the voltage supply should be satisfied with a range. Like at each bus, like at each local node, so my voltage should, like for example here, around 100 volts. It cannot give it too much, otherwise it's going to hurt my appliance. And then another one is, when I do this, there's a power loss going to happen because of local contraction. And if I do sell some power to draw, and at a certain kind of price, but there's power loss happening in the grid, who is going to pay for the power loss? So that's the question, is about how we're going to design the market rule to make people can do bilateral transaction between each other. So
So how do you quantify such externalities?
that's what I'm doing here.
Oh.
Yes, good question. I understand that. Thank you. So, does it look like how we going to quantify, right? The effect brought by the global system. So this is a market rule I put. So we have the voltage constraint. That's what I like. I only focus on two externalities. One is the voltage, one is the power loss, non-loss. So what we're going to do is for each bilateral transaction for the market rule, I'm asking each bilateral transaction going to pay something. So if you want to do some bilateral transaction, because you're going to affect the voltage of the node, so it's going to, you need to buy certain kind of right to use that, to affect that voltage. So that in terms of economics language, people call it voltage right. And define some voltage right on each bus, and every person need to buy something for them. And also for the line loss, I need to pay the line loss happening for the grid because of my transaction. But the question is, how much I need to pay? How I know that's the effect I got. So that's when we design the allocation rule for the voltage effect and line loss individual person. One constraint we put is we need to make sure the budget balance. What the budget balance means is the total voltage effect should equal the voltage bought by all the transactions. And the total power loss should equal all the loss paid by the individual transaction. That's a constraint we put for the design constraint. And that we can imagine has a different way, right? I can just probably ask John to pay everything for all the land, for all the node. I can make sure the budget is balanced, constantly satisfied. Ask one person to pay everything. But that's not like when we look at the problem we have is all the efficiency for the market. That probably like John was, I hate this market. I mean, this definitely not efficient at all, and other people are going to do whatever they want to do. So that was another design constraint. Another constraint, when we have this market rule, then we look at, so still each bus has some electricity price, and the price, I can talk, withdraw how much I'm going to charge. So this one's similar, we look at what kind of ideal price and equivalent can be. Individual generator, given some prices like before. But now, as an individual person going to pay rent and also the voltage. So this voltage right price and also the non-loss rent. So this is similar to the budget balance constraint, but this is more like the deviation constraint. When we look at the equivalent or the ideal market price, is once we set a market price in that way, and every person makes their own local transaction, is from here, there's no deviation from the change. Because electricity price is going to equal, if bus I and the bus J going to talk to each other trying to sell the power, the price is going to equal this and some all the additional costs I'm going to pay.
Again, one question, I'm asking questions so that you can help us. So another question that people raise is, I do all that, but then some crazy companies come and say, I have to have some requirement because otherwise I cannot survive. And if the company does not survive, then I cannot provide you the electricity, but you cannot get it from the renewables. Is there a formulation where this comes into the equation?
So this one, you see, like the addition of this price, like what is your price, cost, loss, like non-loss channel, and the renewable price, you can charge from the individual person.
So they can put their requirements as far as what they need to survive in the company, right? Because
That's another example. I haven't put that into this question.
because otherwise they're going to get what happened in California, okay, 10 years ago, when everybody moved out. And then the consumer says, well, how come now everything's expensive? Well,
Because I'm getting out from other
That's
states.
right.
Yeah. So this is a, let me put it, for this question, we put them together. Is like, the question that you asked is, how are we going to decide the quantity, how much I'm going to pay? And so far, what I'm talking about here is trading two things. So we look at the market, I want the market to be efficient. And secondly, I talk about budget balance. I want like all the services that they use will be paid by someone. So from these two constraints, it can tell us some like how we should design the quantity list and how we're going to design the price list. But actually when we studied it, so this is like kind of like design procedure. So this is design objective we want. Like what John was saying is, if for a company I want to survive, I have another minimal budget to amount. That's another one you can put. It's like the total money I gathered by going to the deliver services should make sure I can maintain my company. And that you can set another constraint and think about how to do that quality. But for that one, I don't have a clear idea how to do that. But good thing is actually from here, at like this arrow from our study, it's actually not unique. So I provide one way. So this is the one application rule we designed, but it's too complicated. I don't want you guys to really into details. It's going to depend on the system operation conditions, and it's a little bit complicated, but we like the way we design this, we try to make sure it has the physical meaning as well. I don't have time to talk about this in details. But I thought like the good thing is, since these two constraints is like this arrow is not unique, so it's possible to add additional design constraint, like structure value has a different constraint, and then you will lead it to a unique value. And here this is not unique, that's a good thing. You can add more design constraint.
you say structure value.
I mentioned structure value. This is similar to structure value. Like you want to.
Yeah, so you must be.
I'm not using structure value. It's very different from structure value actually.
So that being used cooperatively here for that?
People try it, but I don't think that would be the answer for them.
Okay.
It's very hard to deal with the common unit constraint. Okay, so we'll come to the last one. Because I'm running out of time, I'll just give you some idea what my program is working on. Okay, so this answers the question John was asking, information. So like we call this this scenario, I was asking individuals need to report information. Like for example here, I would assume individuals probably can report the benefit cost function. And the big challenge is like why I should report my information? I'm going to report any information to make sure I can get more money. So this is a big trouble when you really deal with humans. You cannot control humans. Otherwise, people are going to opt out from the market and not participating at all if you don't give some flexibility. So like for the second part talk, then we talk about what if people play strategically, like not based on price. If I kind of know the price is set in this kind of rule, what I should do. And to make the analysis checkable, this part, I removed the power engineering totally, just focus on the different aspect. So what this scenario is, so like one example for demand response. Suppose there is an electricity deficient, that B. So now I want individual person to tell me how much you can reduce your load in order for my entire grid to reduce total load by the amount of D. That's the second we have. It's very simple, this one, and just like, this is like, everyone here, tell me what you can do. And the bidding we have is actually similar to like what the transmission system have been doing, is ask people, give me some cost function, give me some function. So because supply function bidding, what this means is, so individual person has some flexibility, but the company doesn't know, and asking people. And the way is, so I'm asking individual person, give me some supply function. What supply function is this is a linear supply function, time price by BI. The BI is some sensitivity to the price, because if the price is higher, I'm willing to reduce more, pay that more money. So that's the kind of the market rule I said. Every person tell me BI. and I'm going to use this function to set the price. So individual person give me the supply function, and so like now because my goal is to clear the total deficient E, and that's tell me one way to set the price. The price is going to be E over summation of I. If I set the price in that way, and like for sometimes when you say like market policy rule, once you give me the information, it's going to follow what you promise for. Every second is, and now I'm going to set the price P. So for this simple scenario, it looks okay. It looks nice. It's doable because I can clear the E. And on the other side is why people will hesitant to think about whether I should incorporate or incorporate. Because if I reduce my D, or you ask me to change my E, there's some cost, right? I mean, like if I'm going to change my like typical lifestyle. So there's some like underlying cost function. Well, I don't know what the actual cost function it is, but there's some cost function. So like from the economics or social welfare point of view, there's some global optimal cost. It's like I want to balance how much I'm asking from the individual person to make sure people's costs are balanced with each other. The summation is like one. So this is ideally I want to achieve that. Now the question is, can the supply function bidding I talked about before achieve the optimal global cost? So now let's think about how individual person will work. So here I'm follow the Nash, like game theory, Nash equivalent to study this problem. So now how people think about. So when people think about this, so this is not revenue I got. P the price, QI is how much I change. Then how much payment I get from the paying company, and this is the cost. So price P the function of bidding, remember that. What that means, now I'm calculating. This is the paying function because the price depending on individual's action, B. And then this is the Q, like I will use for the linear supply function as a QI by that price, and this is C as a QI. Yeah, question?
How reasonable is it to assume that in fact the individuals will be able to estimate the function UI?
Yeah, so this is the, I think in terms of efficiency loss analysis, this is kind of worst case. What this means is that here I assume the individual person has a lot of ability. He even can like estimate other people's demand side action.
I mean, I wouldn't call that worst case. In fact, if they misestimate the function UI, it could lead to even worse case.
Depends. So you're actually from this side. So like this is so this study is a because now I know the price is set based on every person's action. So like, and this is a Nash equivalent. I didn't talk about how I'm going to reach Nash equivalent. That's what John was like. If you do the iterative, there's some learning process.
All right.
And here I didn't talk about learning process. I just talked about like because ideally eventually that's what you're going to do. Because as an individual person, even this time I'm not able to gather global information. I'm kind of estimate. So that's why this is called like equivalent. For the equivalent is now if you reach that equivalent, and then that's the best you should do. So that's why this study is the equivalent study, and we didn't talk about how individual person really take individual concept to learn other people's thinking strategy. Yeah, question?
Again, going back to the trying to determine what a user's benefit function would be, I would think rather than asking consumers what their benefit function would be, I would think rather that one would want to supply customers with different rate structures and ask which rate structure do you find more attractive, and from that you could extract the global.
By rate, do you mean?
Well, like use at different times of day. If you said, at this time of day I'll charge you this much, at that time of day I'll charge you this much, and give them different rate structures, and from that you
You
get.
mean like kind of price a table, so this is the
Yeah.
price and this is the how much. I think
Because I don't think consumers are able to calculate their
so
benefit function. I think you have to give them rate structures and then let them tell you what.
yeah, that's a very good. So I think that's the reason why from here you say actually from the beginning. From the beginning I limited, so I'm not asking people to give me the cost function. So this one is I'm asking you to give me some sensitivity to the price. Because so gradually I want to clear the B, but first like the one way people can ask, okay, I'm just give some table, like this is actually like the table, give the price, how much people will react. So this is actually what exactly what you were like talking about. And now the reason is, okay, now for this size, it's now we're going to study. So this is the supply function bidding that you can implement in real life. You can do that. But the question is, what underlying efficiency that you can achieve? So this is more like theoretical study. I want to know, like, is this market rule good or bad? How much information I lose? And we said more like theoretical study to support that the table and the rate asking, is it working or is it not, or is it not going to work? Because how do I put it? For some reason, I feel like social welfare, even as human, as a person, I don't know my social welfare. Like every day I was thinking about what my social welfare, what my long-term goal is. But there is some underlying truth. So this is more like theoretical study. What is the underlying efficiency technology? Yeah. But if you look at the implementation is implementable.
Right. But then if you are not careful, it can lead to massive instability.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Because the utility changes the price, you change your the consumption, and of course the price they give you depends on what their predictions of the consumption is going to be. So this was studied many years ago, and remember Sean Main, okay, shown that if you actually do this dynamics, you know, multiple profiles simultaneously, and you're not careful, you're going to get
Stability, control
Right.
stability.
So then they went to this bidding process, which is like you reserve the right to buy electricity at some future time at these prices. And this makes it a little bit easier because now you have more time to smooth out the difference. Okay? But they've done what you're talking about. You thought about it, but you have to be careful.
going back to the comment that you made that the individual users or customers can learn this through interaction, wouldn't it make more sense to let the power company learn the aggregate demand through the interactive process?
I mean, it's similarly to the
Well, basically, they can estimate the marginal utility by changing the price.
Except that they are pushing that down to microgrids. There is a whole study of whether neighborhoods actually, without going to the utility among themselves, can do the coordination. And there, I think it makes sense to learn each other. In a
But
cooperative-
that's not the setting.
No,
We're talking about microgrid.
No, I understand. But if you push this market concept to the microgrid,
Right.
then there is, I think, a good sense of, it makes sense to say, well, we're going to cooperate and learn each
No,
other.
for microgrids, I agree. But in general,
But then you have the problem, if you have the microgrids and they learn, how do you coordinate the microgrids if you aggregate them as in one agent and then the company, and then you can do this problem. So this hierarchy here, okay, in all the dynamics. And we'll take it down.
Okay, I want to add one comment what you said. So I do believe, take example, so this is some like theoretical study before we implement the market.
Right.
I do believe if we really put those into real implementation, the data, like day by day data from users and how the data company they improve the market day by day.
Right.
Yeah, I do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, just a matter of how you execute this.
I think for the macro grid is you can still learn. Like I want to have the like interaction, everyday interaction with users. And that's actually like there's a different way of learning, right? The learning from like the same company learn the users. If you assume user behavior is roughly similarly every day, but there's another side. If people use the also try to learn your market's rule, like my neighbors, and this it's actually against a very complicated story. But it would be interesting like how the real data will tell us what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm asking the same question as Professor La asked. So in this utility function UI, does the user I know about PB, the structure of P?
You mean utility company?
Yes.
No. So okay, this one. Let me show you here. So this study is like we are not studying how people know the optimal value, how people know the natural equilibrium. So like for the natural equilibrium from the economy and theory, people believe this is a natural equilibrium can explain what happens when people make decisions as a one equilibrium. So here, like I'm borrow the natural equilibrium. I want to compare with the optimal cost and the cost from like if the market is going to stabilize. And people will have different beliefs. Some economists believe every time everything going to stabilize as certain kind of thing. Some other people is always going to be changed. But it's not if we assume like gradually people play adaptively to each other, eventually they're going to reach, and that's natural equilibrium is the concept to describe that equilibrium. When people play such to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if they don't know how the iterative function is, how they are going to change their action.
We'll do that next week, okay? I know what you want.
Yeah, so that's a learning strategy about game theory. I'm not talking about here. Here I want to talk about the gap. Like, because when I design the market, people can play such a report. There is a difference.
The gap meaning,
Yeah, so this is what I here, right? And originally I have a certain welfare maximization problem.
oh, between the
That makes
centralized and
sense.
supervised, that's what you mean.
Yeah, and between the Nash equivalent and the optimal point. And from here, so from our study is the Nash equivalent will play strategically. The equivalent definitely will be different from the optimal point. And like you can kind of treat the DI, this kind of new cost function. So if you do ask people to report information, and gradually is what the system going to behave looks like. So I call this as a false cost. That people are not going to go tell you the true information. And where you can put the false cost is always much zero. And that makes sense because like especially for me, if I kind of tell higher cost, I can get a higher price. But why I'm not going to tell you the infinity cost function because there's like gap between individual person. If I tell you infinity, my neighbor will give you a little bit smaller price and you got all the benefits. And so that's what this study about. And then we look at like this is a simulation. So exactly what the gap between the like this is the game cost, this is the optimal cost. All the two costs is at equivalent. And I didn't talk about we're going to do the equivalent.
So as you go, you see very quickly, you
And
go
it's
to
the number
the
of
same,
customers.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Not exactly the same. Like,
Huh?
but so here actually you always have some deviation, but almost close to
But
one.
you know, there is a famous lemma in the appendix of Echelon and Lemma, convex analysis, right? That basically they show that in many of these sort of separable costs with their summations, you go to the dual, right? And you actually calculate the gap because you have non-convexity, non-linearity, right? So there's a gap in the linear programming. The gap goes to zero as the number of A's is supposed to be. That's the theory.
Yeah.
So that's.
But that's a form of opposition, right?
Yeah, but everything on top of that, you know how you do it. Okay, so but this, when I first
This
found out
is a two
about,
opposition problem.
huh?
This is a two opposition problem. You
This is
consider.
what?
This is two opposition problem.
Yeah, there,
This
this
is one and another
the
one.
two centralized or centralized. This
Yeah.
falls under very general conditions. Something happens when you go to very large numbers that the graph goes to zero. Like,
Yeah,
if
but the intuition are different from this story and that.
huh?
Intuition are different from that dual gap and about the game gap.
I understand, but I'm telling you, no matter
Yeah,
what,
I know.
no matter what you do,
Yeah.
somehow you do optimization, right?
Yeah, I think here, this is actually, for the economy, we believe that enough customers, people will play against each other. Then that's why, like, actually, yeah, so that's a different intuition. But if you have one, so here I simulate different case.
That's what creates equilibrium. That's why they come.
That's why
The intuition of the economy sees that they play against each other, and
So like, the market power of individual person is very small.
oh,
Yeah, so that's why you
there are
compare,
still
you can
economies believing in markets. Never mind.
Depends on who you talk to.
Huh?
Depends on who you talk to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought this was
yeah, I
one
agree,
way,
yeah.
right?
So,
Anyway.
well, okay, here, so you see that from the simulation, so like, why we do this study, is like, from the theoretical, we actually can, so I see the two extreme case, so this is like, if I have one person has extreme, I see the low cost, if you think about market number, it's called the market power. And this one is that two person can actually compete with each other, other customer very small, they don't have much market power. If I introduce an additional, like, big customer, they actually can like improve the efficiency very much. Yeah.
If you introduce a big customer.
Yeah, so here like this one user, two users, and one user. Like by big for them, we really can hold a lot of flexibility. It's very low cost. And then from this study, even before I do implementation, if I try to design my market structure, if I know there's like one big commercial building here and all other was residential, well, that's very bad because.
But this can be handled very nicely incorporated in game theory, right? Because you have different solutions, and they design them exactly to handle big players and small players.
This is I think about more.
Right? And then you come into negotiation between all that.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, users are the customers or?
Yeah, this is custom, yes.
So what does it mean? Like the rate plot shows 2 users with low cost and then you run some problem with 100 users.
Yeah, so like I keep only 2 users, big users, and then like when I increase the number of customers and users, it's like for those small people, I need those small people.
So 98 of them have relatively higher cost than 2 of them.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, 2 transactions.
And well, then I believe in homogeneous user, they all have the same kind of cost.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like besides the 2 other people are homogeneous, and I had a like very different cost. Yeah, but I don't have much time for the uncertainty. The last time is truly dealing with uncertainty about like we only talked about like it's very hard for me to know the infinite function. It is not some other reason. One reason because like I never think about that infinite function for myself before. Another reason, even we deal with the industry people do have lots of like data analysis to gather cost function. But it's like intrinsic uncertainty because I'm going to give one example. It's here. Like even for the bakery. But bakery, if I'm not running much, I'm going to almost finish. I can do what I promised before. Like if I'm a lot customer, even I said next day, 2 p.m., I'm going to reduce my load. But because I have so many customers, I need to like operate my bakery. I cannot operate. And how much customer I have the next day, I have prediction, but it still has randomness, still has uncertainty. So that's the intrinsic like uncertainty in this problem. When we talk about renewable energy, so here we're talking about the ones from the user side. Like you have a microgrid, I have renewable energy. This is more uncertainty. Like I can predict, but my predict always has an error. And now when we talk about the bidding here, even I said like is people have some cost function, ask people what kind of the BI and sensitivity you have. I don't know exactly what my sensitivity for the next day. I can probably estimate at some probability distribution. That's why when we talk about data. The best thing you can have is the probability distribution. So now the question is, how are we going to deal with this uncertainty? So this is a so this is actually a lot of true pilot study following this framework. So they will like gather a group of customers. And what people are doing now is usually I will tell people for the next day. I'm not going to just ask you to do this now. I usually have to give some time for them to do some preparation. Say like 2 to 4 p.m. and you reduce load. I mean that's a question. And I will like for me, for the BR aggregator, I have some target. And that target because for the reliability use, I need to know how much you guys can really reduce. So this is, for example, this is a target. And I can probably provide a probability bound. I want 99% this target will achieve. So now the challenge is definitely cost to reduce the load and also uncertainty about the cost and like ability to respond. So like I went through a different current practice. So they were doing it like definitely one way. So far, it's like the thing we're going to do is first try to elicit a large number of customers, and then I'm going to offer some rewards, right? So if you reduce, I'm going to give you some money. So there are people operating. And what we have been seeing is people, either sometimes people will opt out at the very beginning, or sometimes during the process, people are going to opt out. Because if I think about 2 hours, it's actually very long because if it's really hot day at the beginning, my temperature, because I used AC before, my temperature is not bad. But once I shut down, make my AC work at a lower power rate, temperature like increase, and I underestimate how hot the next day is and how bad it's going to hurt my factory. So that's why I will opt out in the process. So this is like, if you look at all the realistic data, that will going to happen. So that so some people ask, okay, can you do some study? How many people in the recruit? But the question we want to ask here is there a way to improve the ability, to improve the reliability of response? That's the one we will think about. How we're going to improve that. So just show an overview of what we did by using the mechanism design approach. For the mechanism design approach, we're going to, as I said before, the kind of 2-time scale. Before the day, I'm going to select customer, ask customer. So here the agent will report their knowledge about their responsibility. So say, if everybody in the paper, we have some mathematical model, like say some cost function is a distribution. and so random cost. So then the mechanism of the aggregator is going to select the customer based on the report information. And here what additional things we did is we define the rewards and we also introduce a little bit penalty. But then the question you guys probably will ask, oh, you mean penalty? I don't want to participate. Why you penalize me? So just make our design difficulties. When you design the penalty, make people feel once they look at the policy rule, okay, I'm okay, I can accept that because I see the penalty is not a big amount. Like roughly, if I participate in your demand response, or average or in prediction, I can get a reward. So that's the one challenge, how we're going to design the reward and the penalty. And another thing is how we're going to select the agent. To make sure people can report me the total information, for example. So now at the time one, so agent will, now like at the 2 p.m., I know what the situation I'm dealing with. So I like, we can assume that's going to be gone. So now I know what's going to happen. So agent will decide whether I should respond or response based on like, what I'm selected, reward and penalty. And at the end, then the mechanism will pay individual person based on the rule. So what we did is, so this is some mechanism, like one mechanism. So mechanism design are different, like direct mechanism design, indirect mechanism design. So when I talk about direct mechanism, as I said before, I will ask the individual person, give me the like your uncertainty. And mechanism will compute agent here, that's what we did. Maximal acceptable penalty for the individual person. Because everyone has maximal penalty based on the uncertainty. If it's higher than that, I'm not going to participate because I'm going to lose money in expectation. So then I will select customer in the order of the penalty. Because kind of penalty also tells how willing you are going to respond. Because you can accept higher penalty when you are very confident about yourself. And then we calculate some critical payment. Like this is something I'm using to set the penalty, not to set the customer, but the true penalty even lower than this one, to make sure the person will happier to participate. So this is roughly the structure. And we also can do, like since you said the selection rule only depending on the penalty, we have some indirect mechanism. Dress up people. Okay. I mean, I'm not a person that you don't need to give me the cost function, or just give me some information, what the maximum penalty you can accept. And that's easy decision when we present to think about. And so what we can show is by our, definitely the detail is more complicated than the selection rule. So we actually can guarantee the reliability, like what I said, 99% can be guaranteed. And then the parameter as you can tune can make it 99.9%. So individual rationality actually means every person, the reward expectation is positive and it's going to reach the, and like here what it means guaranteed truthful telling is people will tell me the true, like at best his uncertainty information to me. So that was the truthful telling. So this is simulations. Surprisingly the simulation what we did here is, so this is some artificial mechanism we compared. First best, what it means, if I assume that the aggregator know exactly uncertainty of the individual person, and then I can just use the optimization tool to select the customer to improve my reliability, maximize my reliability. So that is a like artificial one because you will never know individual person's uncertainty is. And then we compare with our mechanism. So if we look at this is the direct mechanism and this is the best one, which is unrealistic. So actually like achieve, so this is reliability. So increasing number means increasing the reliability. And this is how many number of agents is selected. And so this is like if I change my like different simulation studies. So what I want to say is our mechanism almost achieved the best one, which is like the first best is unrealistic. But our mechanism from what here I said can implement it and almost achieve what can be achieved. And at the end, like I can conclude my talk is there's still a long way to go because from my implementation of the 3-part work, I focus on challenges one by one. And in reality, all the 3 challenges are going to interact with each other. And then like from real implementation, definitely people can do the pilot study. But pilot study is sometimes give us a lot of information is also limited, like how we going to improve that. That's why we look at the mathematical of course, got some information from the market, and then we improve the market design. So this is like the future work we're still trying to design the market, try to put all the things together to look at what the market we should build, how we can improve the efficiency, like all these questions. And that's the end of my talk. I have two slides, but I don't think it's important because like we can talk about offline. This is my other research work. It's roughly, so my work is on the network organization control and economics. And today I talk about economics. And there's some other work I'm only focused on the, like for example, here is a data center and like sensor network. Assume all the individual agent is actually programmable. I ignore the human aspect, make the problem easier to deal with because all the device can be programmed, and then look at the mathematical problem, like we did some automation theory, those linear algorithm. We actually had a real implementation, not with the human, but with the device. So one part, we implement our algorithm on the data center. And actually do and the Microsoft invited us to tell more about exactly what we did. And that there's some other ongoing work on the macro grid energy management for the efficient energy management and all that. If you guys are interested in so we can talk offline for each individual topic. And thank you all my collaborators.
Thank you very much.